Hey, you want to tell us what part of Chicago did you grow up in? What was that neighborhood called? And maybe if you could describe that area for those people that didn't grow up in Chicago.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was born and raised in Chicago, South Side. We would call it the Southwest Side. The neighborhood was called Back of the Yards. It's located around 47th and Ashland. I was born and raised on 47th and Loomis. But there were some other people that came around the neighborhood. They came actually from Pilsen, and they started turning people out, into a gang
Okay.
called the Satan Disciples. And at the time, it was like it was a cool thing. It was like, wow, check this out. Look what's going on. And they started talking to us, and sooner than you know it, we got turned out, and yeah, we just started hanging around with them. And in the beginning, it's like everything else, okay, it's cool. We're drinking, smoke a little bit of weed, living a lifestyle of messing around with the girls. This was the thing to do, They didn't know better,
Right.
Here and there, would, take some acid, and we started messing around with a little bit of cocaine. So little by little, started getting worse in the habits of just the street life.
Gotcha. Now, how old were you when you turned out? When was this?
I probably was like 14 years old. Yes,
Okay.
14 years old when I started messing around, experiment. My first drug was, of course, was weed.
Okay.
So that's all we did. We partied. By the time I was 15, 16 years old, we were going out, and I'm hanging around with 19, 20, 21-year-olds, with fake IDs, going to bars, and with my older sisters.
Right. Right.
So that's what pretty much the way we were raised, like my teenage years. And they both had boyfriends where they were part of the clique, they were part of the boys,
Okay.
and they were my brother-in-laws. So the whole house was affiliated in some form of way, and all we did down in the basement, was get high. That was our
Gotcha.
lifestyle. We had no life. That's
Right.
it. Get up, listen to back then is 102.7
Okay.
FM before B96 even came into effect. Put on the hot mixes and start sparking up right in the morning. And we wouldn't get up till like 11:30, 12 o'clock. That was our life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So man, so that was a life. Now let me ask you this: Do you feel like dad not being in the picture made it easy for all of you, like you, your sisters, to just basically do what you want?
Yeah, it was like Pops, he was rough. He was very disciplinarian. He was never really around. He was a workaholic.
Okay, man. So back to it, man. You're just getting high.
So there was always something popping, man. There was always something going on where there was always like some form of violence happening around the neighborhood. So, and then there was the Latin Souls too. I remember, and one of the things I do remember that got really ugly was more like in 1986, 87. I'm gonna share a little story. Is
Yeah,
that
go
cool?
go ahead. No, yeah, yeah. That's what
Okay.
we're here to do.
So we were both called folks, and we were affiliated with the folks, and you had your folks, you had your people, and in the joint we were cool. That's just the way it is. We were brothers, but out in the streets we were good, but it became a power struggle because the Souls were pretty big at that time, and he originated from Sherman Park, but then he moved to Cornell Park, and that's when we were from Cornell Park too, and there were some Tutu boys there from Cornell Park.
Okay.
And man, just pride, egos, everything was good. One day we were at a party, and it was on 53rd and Walcott, if I'm not mistaken. And all you heard, we were just like, it was already like 1 a.m, and all you heard was both mobs representing. One was saying soul love, the other was saying D love, soul love. So they were just trying to overpower the other one. And then while we're dancing, all it took was just one person, two hotheads,
Yeah.
to push the other one. All of a sudden, a fight broke out in that party. And all you heard was right away gunshots. Boom, 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 boom. And everybody ducked. Everybody pretty much ran out the house. Soon as they ran out the house, there was just a fight happening. There was at least 40 to 50 men out there fighting, just humbugging out there. I was in the house. I was chilling, and my sisters were grabbing me, telling me, don't go, chill, and I was like, F that, I got to go out there. I got to go out there, see what's up. And they were like, no, stop it. So they had me against a wall, my sisters. And I remember I pushed one of them, and right away I opened up the window because it was like a second floor window, and I jumped out. It wasn't that high, like 10, 12 feet,
Yeah.
but whatever. I jumped out the window. Right away, I just got right into the mix, started humbugging. All of a sudden, you just heard like around 4 or 5 pistols going off. They were just blasting away. And I remember I was in the corner, and I was humbugging with 2 dudes, And all I felt at the time was just like something hot in my stomach. You know, it was like on the side. I actually got 3 marks right here. And I remember getting bleeding from the head because I got stabbed in the head and I got shot twice and I got stabbed. All this happened all in this fight. And when all this happened, everybody just started running once the gunshots started going. Right. So I ran too. And I remember I had a canary yellow and I didn't know what was going on. I just felt the heat. You know, I was just all full of adrenaline. And I ran down the gangway, and I went back to my sister's house. And, of course, you have the night lights. And I looked, and I had a canary yellow shirt on. And all I saw was rips in my shirt. And I saw nothing but blood, red blood, on this canary yellow shirt. And right there and then, I just started feeling the burning sensation. And my sisters and them looked out the window, and they started screaming. And I told them, shut up, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm too cool for school, And so right away they called the ambulance, and I just started feeling this burning. I went basically like on the floor sitting there, and I was holding on to my stomach. And of course they were all nervous, worked up. Ambulance came, took us in the ambulance. I remember even going in the ambulance, and when I was going in there was one of the Latin souls that was shot up. But when I was walking in the ambulance, it was like we started humbugging, even though we were both. He was shot up all in the face with a shotgun with pellets, And then I was all like shot up, and we started fighting in the ambulance, and they separated us. So it was pretty crazy. That was as a young kid growing up, yeah.
Man, so okay, you go in the ambulance, get to the hospital. How bad were you hurt? What was the damage there?
Well, thank God, no liver damage, no lung damage. I was in there for like around 6 days. Was released. They stitched me up. They took the bullets out. The knife wounds was in the head and like my lower back. Thank God they didn't get a full puncture, And same thing with the gunshot wounds. It just went like it skinned me, but it did penetrate, It went in and came out. And thank God, And I remember my mother. She was a born again Christian, and she was like, gracias a Dios, praise the Lord, And I was like, man, I don't want to hear that, man. Excuse my language. They don't know how to shoot, They don't know how to off anybody,
Hey, thank God for that.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where they didn't know, I didn't realize it was only through God's grace, through the prayers of a righteous woman. It's powerful and effective. And she used to get on her knees daily at 10 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and at 10 o'clock at night, praying for her children because her children were going astray. And they were getting eaten up in that world out there. And the enemy just had us like puppets.
Man.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy, man. They thank God for your mom there.